way Kathy took a look at the material that we're talking about, there's some questions I want to explore here in our conversation, which echo some of hers, and as well as take that as a jumping off point. Why is the issue of marriage, in particular, so front and center in the LGBT rights struggle? Why would the Mormon Church, headquartered in Salt Lake City, care so much about a ballot initiative here in California? How can we, as people of faith, best respond to ideas and actions taken in the name of God that seem to be in direct contrast to our own belief structure? And can faith be a common ground from which to start dialogue, or does that only invite conflict for us? And I have a great panel to discuss this with, just some amazing folks. And I don't want to delay, I want to get right on and introduce them. Joining us on the telephone is the man who made this movie happen, philanthropist, filmmaker, television news anchor, Reed Cohen. Reed is an Emmy-winning TV journalist, started out in Salt Lake City, and is very familiar with the Church of Latter-day Saints. His social and philanthropic efforts include 2 schools in Africa's Masai Mara, and in memory of his son lost in a tragic accident, Reed has pledged to open a school every year until the day he dies. Closer to home, recently Reed wrote the first legislation in Utah aimed at stopping bullying in schools, and his resolution passed unanimously in Utah's House and Senate. Dealing with subjects of same-sex marriage in the Mormon Church, Reed made the film that was the subject of our conversation today, The Mormon Proposition. Reed, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Great people.
Also joining us is screenwriter, director, film and television producer Dustin Lance Black. Dustin grew up in Mormon households in California and Texas. His career as a writer and filmmaker has grown hand in hand with his work as an LGBT advocate, and one role often blending with the other. He embraced queer cinema from his first film back in 2000, won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for Milk in 2008. Dustin narrated the movie we're talking about today, The Mormon Proposition, and Clint Eastwood has just finished directing Dustin's biography of J. Edgar Hoover, maybe the antithesis of Harvey Milk, but also perhaps just as fascinating. The movie stars Leo DiCaprio, opens in theaters this fall. Dustin Lance Black. Also, sort of moving forward to present day, 2 people right now at the center of what's going on with Proposition 8. Plaintiffs in the current Parkway legal challenge, Paul Katami and Jeff Zarrillo. Paul and Jeff have been a couple for 9 years. Paul went to UCLA as a fitness expert, group fitness manager for Equinox in West Hollywood. Jeff, he's a Jersey boy, works on the other end of the movie business from Dustin. He runs AMC Theaters. They live in Burbank. A couple of years ago, Paul and Jeff decided to make their relationship official, and they wanted more than a civil union from another state. So, with the help of Dream Team attorneys David Boies and Ted Olson, and backed by the organization Americans for Equal Rights, Paul and Jeff set out with another same-sex couple to challenge the constitutionality of Prop 8 and restore marriage equality in California. Paul Katami, Jeff Zarrillo, thank you for being with us. I think this can be pretty much a free-flowing conversation. I'll fire off a few questions, then we'll absolutely open it up and you guys can share both your own thoughts as well as questions for the panel. First up, why is the issue of marriage equality so important to LGBT people today? Why is it seems like it's a singular issue almost for us?
I think when you talk about the term marriage, it's not a term just in California. The term marriage has global recognition. When you say the word husband and you say the word wife, there's clear understanding of what that word means, and that there's, if you're telling someone, whether it's a doctor's office or a hotel or a bank manager or something, you're talking about your relationship, when you say my husband or my wife, there's understanding that there's a committed relationship happening right here. Whereas if, Paul and I, we've just celebrated actually 10 years now. If I were to say introduce Paul to someone and say he was my partner or he was my boyfriend, I think partner could, you know, the definition of partner could go either way. We've had instances where people have thought we were business partners. And then if you say boyfriend, and not to offend anybody, but if I were to refer to Paul as my boyfriend after 10 years, I don't think it necessarily underscores the amount of commitment in our relationship after that period of time. So that's why marriage with that global recognition would, you know, aside from all the other, the rights and the taxation, those are the things we want and we're looking for. But really, from a personal standpoint, it's such a personal term to us, and we want to be able to celebrate it as our family and friends do.
Is marriage...
If I
Please.
can chime in.
Yes, Reed.
Was that thought finished? Forgive me if I...
No, go right ahead, yes.
Okay. Well, for me, if I can chime in, I mean, the word is validity. To be able to say to the world, I'm married, on so many levels, it is the brass ring of validity. To spiritual communities, to the government, to our social circles, it is the brass ring for validity. And most especially, I have twin boys that I've adopted. To be able to tell them that they enjoy the protections and benefits and blessings of marriage, being under that umbrella, it makes their very existence most valuable. And to me, I fight for marriage equality and marriage because there are children involved. And they, of all people, deserve to have that validity.
Reed, while you're speaking, what is it that most spurred you to make this film? Was there a single thing, a driving force that made you say, yes,